The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning to everybody. We've got a great group of people already online and folks that are still signing in, but we're going to go ahead and get started on this month's Recruiting Insider call. Just a couple of things. If you have any questions, please feel free to type those in. And hang on, somebody's already put something in there. I need to get where I can read those questions. But feel free to type those in, and we will answer those as we go along. Jeff, thanks for your message this morning. And with that, let's continue to move forward. I want to thank those that support this recruiting call, not only from you folks attending, because if you weren't here, it wouldn't be any fun at all to do, but also for TruckRight. TruckRight's the absolute latest, greatest, next generation of applicant tracking. It totally automates the recruiting application process, verification process, and then as everything is done with that piece and the onboarding, it creates the DQ file and automates the entire management of the paperless DQ file. So TruckRight is just phenomenal. So I heard somebody say the other day, man, you know, there's just no other systems out there. And I'm like, well, what do you know about TruckRight? And they're like, no, I don't. And once we showed it to them, they're blown away. HireRight, I think HireRight for their support and for sharing this with their clients, and for all the HireRight clients that are on this call. Thank you so much. And of course, Rams, one of our calls. There's a couple that he has missed, but they're a huge supporter of these calls, and I thank Matt and Ramsey for their support in the Recruiting Insider calls. And folks, I want to remind you, for those that haven't heard it before, check out that recruitingsessions.com. The recruitingsessions.com, they've got live, but they're educational as well, mostly educational and entertaining, I should say it that way. They just absolutely keep you on the edge of your seat, and you want to watch the next one as Matt talks about driver recruitment advertising. I don't know, isn't it crazy? I just told you you'd be really excited on the edge of your seat learning about driver recruitment advertising. So anyway, with that being said, I think Matt is going to take us where no man has gone before in this presentation today. And with that, Matt, the screen is yours, sir.
Thank you, Kelly. I always appreciate being part of this, and as Kelly said, for sure, check out recruitingsessions.com. We actually have a word that we like to use. It's called edutain, and we love to educate and entertain at the same time, and so that's why I kind of chose Star Trek theme today to talk about how we need to be recruiting cadets, or millennials in this case, and kind of wanted to share some ideas about how to do that, 4 different ways that we need to be doing that. But first, I wanted to kind of share with you what is driving the issue and why we should be talking to millennials today. And so this graph right here represents 3 different periods of time, and as you can see there, in 1994, roughly it was about 60% of our driver pool was between the ages of 25 and 44. And so we had kind of a younger demographic there that we were, that as far as our drivers and our driving pool out there. But as you can see over the next graphs, in 2003, that number actually shrank to 51% and 40% in 2013. And in 2013, our biggest category there is other. And I can assure you that it's not made up of drivers that are below the age of 25. It's mostly made up of drivers that are older than 55 years of age. And actually today, the average driver that's out there on the road is about 49 years of age. And so the issue that we're facing is that our population is just getting older. And in recruitingsessions.com, you'll kind of see in the very first video what some of the challenges that we're facing. And I take this a little step further in the fact that we need 800, the ATA actually says that we need 890,000 drivers entering the marketplace over the next 10 years to keep up with retirements and industry growth. And so we definitely have an issue out there, and we need to be recruiting these millennials, and so that's why I chose this particular topic today. And so the first thing that we need to be doing is we need to boldly go seek out new life. And what I mean by that is trucking is actually alien to most of the millennials. I mean, we have to realize that this particular generation has grown up with their parents, their teachers, their counselors, their preachers, all saying college, college, college. You have to go to college in order to make it in this life. And that's just not the case. And I was recently reading an article about how to reach millennials, and one of the comments actually that an actual recruiter today put out there, I thought it kind of stuck with me. And he said, I heard a school teacher say recently that you'll only grow up to be a truck driver if you don't go to college. Now, this doesn't help recruit truck drivers. And he's absolutely right. You know, with that kind of messaging out there, that kind of issues that we're dealing with as far as, you know, mentors and folks that are, you know, their elders telling them that truck driving is not a good career. That's kind of what we're up against. And so we have to change that perception. And, you know, these are some of the ways that we can do that. And I know the ATA and the TCA are both very involved in getting millennials and getting a younger generation to enter the market. So we'll continue to watch that process and watch some of the new laws that are coming out. But on the second part of this, you have to reach millennials through a dedicated campaign. And so what I always recommend to carriers that we work with is that you have your traditional ads out there that are going after the traditional population, the traditional drivers today, but create a separate budget, a separate plan, a separate program to actually talk to the millennials, and feature some of your younger drivers in those ads. If you can get some testimonials or some photos of some good photos of some of your younger drivers to use in those campaigns, it will go a long way. So the second thing that I wanted to talk about is we have to translate your message. You have to make it simple for these particular millennials. I don't mean simple as in they don't understand it, but they don't speak our language. They just don't know what dedicated miles and home time and some of the things that we're putting in our ads today, they don't understand. They don't relate to that. And so we need to convert those terms into plain English. So we need to talk about weekly pay, not cost per mile. So that's a good example. Also, you know, we're going to be hearing about insurance for the next few years, definitely, and insurance programs and premiums and things like that. And so talking or getting some of your younger drivers to speak about your benefits that you offer as a company would also go a long way to speaking to millennials. The third thing that I would like to talk about is, as soon as it changes, is we have to use their communication tools. So we have to set it up so that they can communicate with us and we can communicate with them how they want to be communicated and how they want to receive that information. And so social media is a great platform for that. We also have to make our sites and apps completely mobile friendly. You know, the mobile friendly is key. If you've got a pinch, push, pull, or scroll, they're gone. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. If you ever visit a non-mobile friendly site on your mobile phone and you have to scroll and pinch and push and all of that kind of stuff to figure out what it is the website has, has on there and the information to get the information, you get frustrated and you leave. Well, millennials are the same way. They're not going to stick around if it's not easy to get the information. So the last thing I want to talk about is partnering with with some fleet academies and your young captains. And what I mean by that is driving schools, CDL schools out there. And so my recommendation would be to visit the schools. Figure out a program that you can offer some of the cadets, or maybe create a program where you can do some tuition reimbursement, where you say, hey, if you commit to a certain amount of time with our particular company, we're going to reimburse your tuition, and we're going to do that through your payroll over the next month or quarter or whatever that is. You can set up those programs however it's going to work best for you, but to create an incentive for them to come to work with you. And also to connect with your new recruits to your good young drivers. And when I was putting this together, I'm not sure that anybody's actually doing this, but I thought, man, they love social media. Millennials are all about social media, and so wouldn't it be neat for you to empower some of your young drivers and make them be your young ambassadors and create videos? They can do it from their cell phones. As a matter of fact, the more non-professional video, the better in this case. And if they're out there on the road and they want to send in some tips, some points, hey man, these are some of the mistakes that I made when I first started driving, when I first got out of school, or these were some of the fears that I had, or some of the concerns that I had coming out, and I just want to address those and offer some advice. And if you start building this library of videos for these young cadets that are still in school, then you can start to build those relationships with them because they see you as a resource, as well as they start to build relationships with some of your younger drivers. And so those were just some thoughts that I had today about how and why we should be talking to millennials. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. That first slide actually had my phone number and cell phone. I mean, my phone number and email, or call me on my cell phone, either one. And be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. And with that, I will turn it back over to Kelly.
You bet. Hey, Matt, I appreciate that. And you know what you're describing and suggesting on this page is diametrically opposed to what most fleets do. That they want to have a mentor, but they always look to their old sage guys. And I think you're right. I think we have another young driver as that mentor that kind of talks about how they made the transition. The other thing, you made a little slip there earlier, but you know why you made that slip? Because you are always, one thing I know about you, you are always looking at cost, driving down the cost per hire, the cost per lead, and ultimately cost per hire. And when you said here, talking about the not CPS, you said not cost per mile, because you're always thinking that way. And what you meant to say is cent per mile. And I say that, you know, you and I have talked about that a lot. Drivers don't care how much they might make. They want to know how much they're going to make. And in that, you know, when you say, hey, this is what our guys average per week, you're already answering that question for them. So anyway, hey, great presentation, Matt, and really suggesting some things that other folks aren't doing. And I thought that was really cool. Thank you so much for your help today on this. So we'll keep going. Hey, so there's 4 bonus programs, and I'm going to have to hit, you know, kind of bump and run on them as usual, trying to get this done in 30 minutes. So, you know, sign-on bonus, referral bonus, safety bonus, and productivity bonus. And I literally thought to myself, you know what, I should have added recruiter bonuses in here, but we wouldn't have time in 30 minutes. So another phone call that we do will be on recruiter compensation. I'll do that as a separate webinar itself. self. So sign-on bonuses. Just last week, I was talking to a fleet, and they're offering a $3,500 sign-on bonus, and the recruiting director was in my conference up in Albany, and he was getting emails from operations and even in the CFO and even the chairman saying, "Hey, are these guys just coming to work to grab the bonus and run? Look at the number of people that came to work, and look at how many have quit." And I was like, back up. Let's go back and look at what your turnover rate was prior to this offering the bonus. What was your turnover rate in the first 90 days prior? And so, did they come and to take the bonus and leave? And they even said, and folks, some people may say, Kelly, you're naive. It was even said in that email, in that back and forth that they were having, if you think people don't come to take the bonus and leave, you're naive. I guess I'm naive. The bonus isn't, unless you're giving them $3,000, come on, haul your first load, get $3,000. I still just, will somebody come to take the bonus and leave? I just don't know. But as soon as you have a sign-on bonus, does it actually increase the number of drivers recruited? I'll tell you, a great sign-on bonus, sign-on bonus does not replace the need for great advertising and recruiting techniques. You can have all the leads in the world. Let's say it does generate more leads, but if you don't have good recruiting techniques, you're not going to win. And then a sign-on bonus doesn't necessarily lower turnover, and that's what that conversation last week was about. If I'm not making enough money to feed my family working with you, if I don't enjoy working for you and don't feel like I'm respected and appreciated, I don't care how much your sign-on bonus is. I'm probably going on down the road, because life is too short to work with jerks. And I guess, I've been on the road, by the way, for the last couple of weeks, so I'm a little pointed today. So you're going to find Kelly just getting to the point today. So I think we'd all agree with that. Anybody in this call would say, you're right, I don't want to work with people that aren't nice to work with. So the other thing is, most sign-on bonuses are spread over a year or more, especially when they get to be $5,000 or $10,000. Well, when the sign-on bonus ends, are we kicking in a longevity bonus? Like, hey, you get another cent per mile. And the truth is, what I find is many times as sign-on bonuses are big, they actually create a pay cut about the same time we ought to be getting a pay raise, because you just took $3,000 out of their revenue this year when that sign-on bonus ends, or $5,000. So I'm not a fan of sign-on bonuses. I am a fan if what are we trying to do? We're trying to attract people. Great advertising can do that even without a sign-on bonus. We're trying to recruit more people. Great recruiting techniques can do that even without a sign-on bonus. And then we're trying to retain people. One of the problems I find is that drivers come to work for us, and with the holdbacks and everything else and the deductions and then advances, man alive, they don't feel the real benefit of going to work for your company until they're into their 45th or 60th day, because every check they get's been advanced out and deducted out, and so they're just not feeling the benefit. So I'm all about giving a guaranteed minimum pay for the first 30 days. And you're seeing a lot more of this being offered in the industry. I think I'm having an influence. And where people are saying, hey, we're going to guarantee that you make $964 a week in your first 30 days. And now the question is, do you pay it on the orientation week? Or do you start it just on the second week? The truth is, if they're out running for your company, then you're only having to make up the difference between what they would have made to the guarantee if they didn't make it up to the guarantee because, things were slow getting them started. But what does it do? It helps them to feel the benefit of coming to work for your company right away. And hey, honey, look at this. I came to work for XYZ, and we've got more money in the bank. This is great. rather than, oh, it's coming, it's coming. Hey, honey, I thought it was going to be better for us. Well, it's coming. And then they just get dug in a hole they can't get dug out of. So I'm all about transition bonuses, referral bonuses. The challenge with this is many times fleets like to spread them over a year, but the truth is 75% of turnover happens in the first 90 days. So we have drivers that refer a driver, and then they don't get paid all the bonus because the other person quit. And the truth is, what type of influence does the referring driver have over the referred driver quitting? I referred lots of drivers. Just driving down the road, talking on the CB or on the dock. I didn't know that guy from the man on the moon, but I believed in my company and bragged on my company, and as a result, he went to work for the company. But in the end, I didn't have any influence over him staying or leaving. So really, should I have been held and should I have lost bonus when I did my part? And the other challenge you have is, how do you get drivers to refer others? And the Ramsey has some really great tools that they do for our clients that help to give the right type of tools to the driver so they can help to refer. But the other silver bullet in driver referrals is asking drivers personally and privately for their help. And this is a place where everybody in the company can help. Fleet managers can help here. Recruiters need to find their drivers personally and privately and ask them for their help with driver referrals. Secondly, as you consider what to pay for referrals, consider something that you can give at the point of hire and be done with it. Your accounting department will really appreciate this, so it's not a nightmare trying to track. For instance, you will have an advertising cost per hire. Every other driver sitting in that class, you spend X amount of dollars and you got them in class. And so what's your advertising cost per hire? We have some clients that number, frankly, is very low, $100 and some odd advertising cost per hire. I typically find the average to be around, if you're really doing things real well, and this is a dangerous number to give because it really is affected by who you are, where you are, and what you are. But about $700, $750 to $900, right in that area of an average cost per hire. So what if you were to say, you know what, your referral bonus is $750, and that guy runs his very first load, you get your $750, go get me another one. And there you go. The best I've seen was 2 cents per mile for every mile the referred driver drives for the length of employment. Both of you have to be employed, and no limit to how many you could get. FYI, that's the best I've ever seen. If I was a driver, I'd be, woof, you talk about getting a pay raise. The other thing that I saw, it was one of my clients in Canada. They had basically, after you have referred and 3 of your referrals get hired, you get this special leather jacket. The only way to get this leather jacket is through referrals, and that leather jacket was highly sought after, and it was a real motivator for people to get involved in the referral program. Safety bonuses. Now, this may really shock you. I am against safety bonuses, and a reason why, I think about it as being a driver myself, and I've asked safety directors who are ex-drivers, and I've asked other drivers with millions of miles of no accidents, and I asked them, did you slow down because you were afraid of losing the penny? Did you update your logbook because you were afraid of losing your penny? Did you do a vehicle inspection because you were afraid of losing your penny? And in every situation, the answer was no. I think about when I was a kid at 8 years old at Goliad Elementary School in San Angelo, Texas. I didn't do my math homework. And, Mrs. Green took me and James Fisher down to the principal's office because he didn't do it either. His dog ate his. He told the principal that, and I was feeling sorry for him, and the principal wasn't buying it. But principal looked at me and says, Kelly, why didn't you do your homework? I said, sir, because I don't understand math. Man, there's some sort of trick I didn't get. If you give me that trick, I'll do my math homework, because I did all my other homework. Well, what if he said, you know what, I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to give you $5 if you do your math homework. my answer would have still been the same. I don't know how to do my math. If you'll show me how to do my math, I'll do my math. I want to do my math. But now, Kelly, if you don't, and this is what truly happened. He says, you didn't do your math homework, I'm going to give you a whipping. And I looked at that principal and said, sir, you can spank me, but I still won't know math. And I took a spanking that day. Now, I will tell you, I think I got hit a little less than James, because James was running around a room. By the way, watching him get a whipping was worth the price of admission. That was a rodeo now. But, so here we are with the safety bonus. If our drivers don't know how, don't understand the stopping distance and the importance of vehicle inspections and keeping our logbooks up to date to the last change of duty status, which of course ELDs is going to help us with that big time. But they still don't understand. And so we need to influence them and educate them on the right things to do. The money doesn't get it there. Frankly, I said it makes a bad situation worse. Let's say I do have an accident. I didn't want to have that accident, but bad things happen, and boom, let's say I had one. I'd never have, but let's say I did. And now I want to be down and lose miles because I had an accident and all this, and next thing you know, I've lost the money because of the miles I lost, and now I've lost additional money because I'm getting punished on top of it. So there you have it. Recommendation. Now, it can be used as a motivator. We have, Carrier's Edge by Impact, our online training program, which absolutely rocks. And, if drivers don't have a reason to take training, many times they don't want to. Now, we need to influence them. Some of my clients have safety bonuses. You take your safety training, you get your bonus, or you don't get dispatched, So you could use it as a motivator, for certain things that you need done. But folks, when you really look at it, it's not about the penny per mile, for the safety bonus. It's about if that driver's not safe and if that driver's not compliant, they are not going to run on our fleet. We don't care about the penny, truly. All the safety folks, we don't care about the penny. What we care about is the behavior, and the penny doesn't educate. And frankly, those people that want to be safe, they're not thinking about the penny. They're thinking about, I need to be safe. So the next is productivity bonus. Folks, this one, I'll just tell you real quick, I think it's an absolute train wreck. It's, most every accident that we have out there can be tied to fatigue. And now, and guys, I do expert witness testimony in defensive trucking. And every time part of the compensation has been a productivity bonus for miles above, 12,000 miles or whichever. The plaintiff's attorney every time wants to prove to the jury that you push your drivers and actually reward your drivers to drive more miles, and frankly, they're going to do that when they're tired, and that's what happened here, and my family's dead because of it. And folks, get ready to write a check. I mean, that's just a tough one. And then you have the second piece, drivers complaining. We've all heard this. Well, I'd have got my bonus if you guys had given me the miles. You're the ones holding me back. And then, of course, when they are pushing, you're burning more fuel and you're having higher operating costs with maintenance costs and stuff because they're pushing to get more and more miles. And folks, there's diminishing return there, big time. So, and frankly, bonuses cannot take the place of good management. And so we need to have good management, have drivers available to work when they need to be available, and willing and wanting to work for us. That's all about relationship. But I said it when I started this slide. I think that a productivity bonus is an absolute train wreck. So I think on this webinar, I've kind of stuck it out there. There's some things those are some regular things that fleets do that I think there's some problems with it. Now, I'm out of time. I don't have another slide, but I will tell you I am a fan of fuel bonuses. People will turn their trucks off. They will slow down. They will try to, and you've got to train them how to do it. They will try to be more economical for the sharing of the fuel cost savings. So I am a fan of fuel bonuses. Hey, before we end this call, a couple quick things. First off, I want to wish everybody on this call Can we get your quick 2 cents on longevity bonus? Yes, I am a fan of longevity bonuses. And folks, I'm also a big fan of pay for experience, which is kind of tied to a longevity bonus, because if you're wanting to hire the absolute best in your office, you're going to pay more to those people that you want to, stand by one. Stand by one. Here's what we're going to do. First off, I'm going to say my goodbyes, and then we're going to have open mic. We did that at the last phone call, so and I will keep the recording going, and everybody will get a copy of it, but I promise to be done at 10:30. I'm going to talk about longevity and pay for experience in a second, but I want to say my goodbyes for those that have to run. First off, I want to thank everybody on this call for being here and wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Secondly, at the end of this webinar, there will be a survey, and on that survey, I'm asking about future topics you might be interested in. I'm also asking you, would you like to have Matt from Ramsey contact you and/or information on TruckRight and such. And our next phone call is on December 14th at 10 a.m. With that, I want to keep talking. This is going to kind of be open mic conversation. And Matt, if you're still able to talk and want to kick in on any of this, I'd be glad to do that, and we may go here for another 15 minutes maybe. But so back to longevity bonus. And thank you very much, Mike, for your kind words there, sir. When you think about office people, when you want to hire the best, you start them out at a higher level. And as office people continue to work in the office, as years go by, you give pay raises. Why should we treat drivers differently? If you want the absolute best, then I think we ought to pay for experience. And one way to do that is to pay for up to experience up to one level under if he'd have been with you the entire time. So if he had been with you for 10 years, he's making 55 cents a mile, or I don't know, just making a number up, or 45 cents a mile. Then he starts with you at 10 years. And yes, thank you, Chris. You get what you pay for. Then you start out at 44 cents per mile for the person with pay for experience. So I'm all about, and by the way, here's something else I did. One time I worked with a fleet, and we created the cream of the crop program. And so we looked at, what would you give to the office person? That was cream of the crop. Well, you might start them out with vacation time in the first year. You're going to pay them more. You might cover their COBRA on insurance, so things like that. And so literally with this fleet, we had a cream of the crop package. And so if the driver had experience and had longevity, low turnover, then they offered certain things that treated them with the respect that a cream of the crop driver ought to get. I do undercover trucker, and I recently went through orientation for a company, and here I was, 18 years with the same company. No tickets, no accidents, no criminal, no roadside inspection violations, and 10 years with the company before that, and Coast Guard before that. And I was paid the same as the guy sitting next to me who had just gotten out of truck driving, well, not truck driving school, but it had like 6 months experience. So in true life, why should I? It says my company pays depending on experience, and it is a step up in the game when it comes to recruiting. Thank you very much, Maybell. I agree. And Chris said that you get what you're paying for. So folks, please do fill out the survey and let me know of future things you want to talk about. And also, if you're a person that is willing to be a guest speaker on the call, we'd love to have you as a guest speaker as well, like we did with David Broyles of Averett last month. I just sprung that on him, and he was certainly glad to be a part, and I appreciated that. With that, I think we will go ahead and end the webinar. I don't take lightly the people we've had here, And thank you very much, Jeff. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.